Ah, yeah. Done with the battle of the year. Nordics
Yes,
and
sir.
Baltics. You had a good time today?
I diddly did.
Word
Yeah.
up. Kev, why do we need a judges system?
A judges system.
Judges system. Why do we need it?
Okay. I think we need to go back before that, actually. We need judges training. A judges system is a tool for recording decisions, to look for coherence, to look for trends, to look for bias and this kind of stuff. But I think before that, we need judges training, because historically, this is how it goes, right? The scene starts, and then before there's even competitions, there's clubs and this kind of social environment where people have a dance-off, a battle, whatever you want to call it, and then the crowd judges or your friends say who won. And then at some point, there were organized competitions, and it's way, way later in the history of the culture. And then you find that various people are asked to judge, and it's basically they're looking for who's more entertaining rather than who's more skillful, right? So whoever gets the most cheers gets the vote, and that happens for a few years, and then after a while there's like a little bit more attention to quality, skills, and all these other values start to come into play. But basically, you're asked to judge. You don't know what's going on, and you don't even take it that seriously. Maybe in the very, very beginning, you just vote for who you like, what you like, who gets the most cheers from people. Even professionals were doing that in the early days, right? And then, of course, you start having discussions. You might be with someone. You're like, "Oh, who do you think won? Oh, why do you think they won?" And then these questions start to come up, and then you're like, "Oh, I never thought about that." And then each of you starts building on top of knowledge, right? And I think that to have that standardized is probably the way forward. You know, that we start teaching young people how to judge so that they can see why certain decisions are made and not be confused why they lost or why they didn't lose. I mean, this question's still being asked and it's 40 years in, and people are still like, "Oh, why did I lose?" or "What can I do to get better?" Like, they should know, because there should be standard qualities or understandings of certain things, you know? That's what I think. And the more I think about it, the more I think it's necessary to have training and a system of recording, which is what a judges system is.
Yeah, man. How do we train the judges? Do we have anything yet, or is it?
No, I think even like you train B-boys.
Yeah.
You are training judges when you're training them, because you're helping them to identify certain qualities and certain things that are good or valued. Like you might say, yeah, your CCs are good, but they're a little bit off the music, or they're not. You could tighten it up. So then they start to internalize this idea of what a tight CC looks like, or what a good transition looks like. They might show you a move, and you're like, okay, but how'd you get into that? And then they start thinking, oh, okay, I didn't think about that, because they're thinking of the move on its own. And then you're like, yeah, that transition's not so good. And then they do one that is good, and then they start to identify what a good transition is, what good form is. People talk about form, but what does that really mean, right? Flea Rock says you have to be able to take a picture and it looks like a pose, right? This is a great explanation of what good form is, that you're not halfway through something or whatever, you know, like looking all ugly. So his description of what good form is actually makes sense. Now the whole scene needs to understand that definition of good form, because people don't really understand when they lose, and it's like, yeah, but you were really scrappy and you looked like trash, you know. The other guy may not have had as much as you, but it looked better. The presentation of it was better, and in our dance, that's what's valued, you know. So when you teach, you're teaching judges as well, but you could make a separate training thing that's focused on judging. Do you know what I mean? So you could have training, and then say, okay, so when we look at judging, you still want to look at these things that I've been teaching.
Yeah. we've been speaking about it. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah. I mean, the platform that you created, which is the first of its kind, don't forget, it's way before its time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you saw something, I don't know what the process was in your head, but you saw something that was missing from the scene that you've created, and it's the future, man. I could see it a mile off. When you first did it, I was like, damn, why didn't anybody else think about this, you know? Like, it's crazy. We're in the 21st century, you know? These platforms, there's people in the back of beyond that have no idea about the culture or what to do even, you know? And you can't learn from YouTube and these kind of like two-dimensional incomplete methods. You need mentorship, you need coaching, you need teachers. The times of just freestyling and that, it's long gone. Do you know what I mean? I mean freestyle learning,
of
right?
course.
Because these clubs don't exist anymore where you can go and pick stuff up and then go home and train. And it's like, if you're in the back of beyond, like, how are you going to get this information? You know, like when you first start seeing new countries come into break-in, they're always biters. Why?
They see and they copy. That's the only.
And no one ever told them that you're not allowed to.
No mentors. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if no one ever tells them, they think that performing the skill like their favorite b-boy actually has value, because in every other art form, that is what is valued, right? The closer you are to your idols, the better you're seen to be. And in ours, it's kind of like the opposite, you know?
Yeah.
So to have that instruction, like, okay, it's nice that you've got that, but you're not allowed to look like this guy, that guy, this guy. You have to create your own personality. It's not just understood, you know? Our art form is kind of unique in that way, because a lot of dance arts, they're very, very standardized how you're supposed to look, you know? When you look at, say, Latin and ballroom and stuff, it's like, yeah, you have your own personality, but really you have to do a step in this particular way for you to get the vote. And we're the opposite.
Wise words. Fix your shit.
Fix your shit.
Go and enjoy the after party, okay?
Yes, sir. Peace.